Moving on to long ball number two, a lot of folks in the chat wanting to chime in about USL2 and some of the elite amateur playoffs going on. We'll get into that in long ball three, but long ball two here, notable as far as the landscape and the calendar, the owner of the Philadelphia Union kind of tipping his hand to Jonathan Tannenwald about a calendar change and kind of some big changes that seemingly are coming to Philadelphia, but the calendar change item comes to the fore once again.
Yeah, so Jonathan, I want to be clear here. Jonathan Tannenwald, friend of mine, writes for the Philadelphia Inquirer. A lot of you will know him. He posted a story he wrote for the Inquirer that says the Union are not actually saying how they would vote on an MLS calendar change, but they're hinting that they're for it. So this, and there's a paywall involved. Please go support Jonathan Tannenwald and his work at the Philadelphia Inquirer, but there's a paywall involved. But it says that team president Tim McDermott and principal owner Jay Sugarman spoke on the record about that subject ahead of a board of governors meeting that's happening for Major League Soccer around the MLS All-Star game, which is Wednesday. So everybody will be out in Austin. They're going to have a board of governors meeting. It's one of the reasons the All-Star game still exists, to be honest with you. It's just an excuse to get everybody together. And so this may come up. I believe our friend Simon Evans also is reporting on this consistently with soccer, the business of soccer. Is that what it is? The business of soccer? Yeah, I want to get that right. This is a major, like this is maybe the next domino, the next major thing for American soccer. And while it would only be MLS that makes this choice, I do wonder what the knock-on effect would be for what we're talking about with the USL Championship and USL League One and the expansion and stadium building, how that changes the scenario, if at all. Like, does the USL follow suit? They have their women's league playing on this calendar that MLS is considering, right? Which is the fall to spring calendar that most of Europe follows. I think for the Union, what is interesting about this is you're like, why would the Union be in favor of this? I mean, Philadelphia's in a place where winter weather conceivably could be a problem. Now, I do think a lot of people would say, better to be playing in cold or better to be having games moved around because of cold than to be playing through 100 degrees with 78% humidity, which, trust me, I'm in the Atlantic, mid-Atlantic. It is hell right now. It is disastrous to be outside. I think
an upper Midwest saying is you can put on more coats in the winter but you can't strip down more in the summer.
No, that's not. Yeah. And I wouldn't advise walking around as stripped down as you can. I think for the Union, though, part of this is the business of developing players. That the Union are a selling club. We know that. They're also a very successful team in Major League Soccer, and they've done that magic trick of being competitive while also being a developing club. But the idea of selling players gets a lot easier when your windows line up. You're not having to sell a player in the middle of your season for them to go off to Europe. Now you're selling them in the same end of season, preseason window that everybody else has. Right? I think that could be. I think that Jay Sugarman and the people involved with the Union, and obviously they made a choice at head coach because Ernst Tanner wanted more kids to play, and they're proving that that's working under Bradley Cornell. I think they see this as we can do a lot better selling players, and we have a proven track record of developing players if our calendar's lined up. So it's not so much the business of selling tickets that they're concerned with. It's the business of developing and selling players.
There was some additional interesting notes from Sugarman, who's not shy away from a good quote. But what do you think of him saying the first 16 years of the Union being just the warm-up? Is that just like spin zone, or is there really going to be a big change?
I think that's typical bluster. I mean, the thing about Sugarman is that for a long time, Union fans hated him. Union fans were extreme. Obviously, they were bad. I mean, they were consistently bad. And if you're looking for a reason that any professional sports outfit is bad, you can go to the people who make the personnel decisions, right? You could talk about the general manager. You could obviously talk about the on-field manager as well. Like that's always, we're bad. Well, it's because we have bad coaches. Okay. But I think Union fans always saw Sugarman as holding the club back because he wasn't willing to spend. And it's important to remember that Philadelphia, I believe, is the 5th biggest market in the country.
Yeah.
Now, maybe your revenue is less connected to your market size in soccer than it is anywhere else in any other major sport. right? Like the Yankees have an advantage because they're in New York and they bring in so much money from being in New York, and that's a major issue. And obviously the Dodgers the same way. They have all this money partly because they're in LA, than this massive market. It may not be as much of a factor in Major League Soccer, but it feels as though you are not meeting your potential when you're in the fifth biggest market in the country and you play like a small market team, which the Union did for years and years and years. And a lot of people would point to Sugarman as the problem. So now, because people like Richie Graham and obviously Ernst Tanner, but before that, Ernie Stewart, helped lay the groundwork for a developmental system that is paying dividends. And I don't think money-wise was a huge investment. Certainly not the same as like spending $50 million on players. They have seen the light on this. It's come back around the other way. And Sugarman's probably right. Like we have enough data here to know, Rob, that if any team in Major League Soccer can consistently turn out one or two good pros a year, it's the Union. They're the ones. And if he's saying that this has been a warm-up the last 16 years, it's because of that. It's because they look at this and they go, Kevin Sullivan, Quinn Sullivan, Brendan Aronson, go down, Mark McKenzie, go down the list of Union products that have gone on to bigger and better things. I think they see that this is the step before that when they get to a place of being maybe one of the preeminent talent developers, certainly in the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah, and when you were gone last week, I brought up the topic of, are we, in the midst of transitioning to MLS 4.0 and Major League Soccer being a part of the world development, conveyor belt, part of that new era. Fact check from earlier, friend of the program, Simon Evans's project is The Soccer Business. So check him out.
The Soccer Business. Yeah, TSB. That's what that is. Go get it.